Sir, Madam Speaker, sorry. I rise pursuant to Standing Order number 57-1 to hereby present to the Senate the status of the business before the House. I'll try and really be brief because I can see time is far much spent.
Order, Senator Cherargei, can you consult with the
Thank you.
Senior Counsel in Lawtons, please?
Madam, I was saying I'll try and be brief in my statement because I can see time is far much spent and we still have to do an adjournment motion, Madam Speaker, that will be moving in the next few minutes. Madam Speaker, as you are aware, today, Thursday, the 7th of December, is our last sitting of this session with the Senate calendar for the second session. Honorable Senators will also note that at yesterday's sitting, the Senate passed a resolution to alter the hours of sitting to hold today, sitting at 9:30 to 1, which in effect suspended the afternoon sitting. As such, therefore, there will be no afternoon sitting today, and the House will proceed on recess today from 1 p.m. Madam Speaker, the beginning of the second session in February 2023 was a fairly tumultuous with divided Senate along party lines following the very hotly contested general election. It was impossible to transact legislative business. Today, as I stand here, Madam Speaker, I'm extremely happy that as the session wore on, the two sides of the political divide have closed ranks and we have begun to appreciate each other for the common good of our country. This has resulted in the passing of very crucial legislative business. With respect to bills, the House of the Senate has a total of 59 bills have so far been published, out of which 5 have been enacted into law. 8 have been concluded and have been referred to the National Assembly for consideration. 31 bills are pending conclusion at various stages in the Senate. 6 bills are undergoing concurrence pursuant to Article 110 of the Constitution. 5 bills have been denied concurrence. 2 bills were negative at the second reading stage. 2 bills were withdrawn by the respective movers. Madam Speaker, in terms of petition, the House has so far received 44, 22 of which have been concluded and the reports have been tabled, and 22 are pending conclusion by the respective standing committees. That's particularly impressive. But as Speaker, I want to single out, like we did last week, the Committee on Justice and Human Rights Affairs, which has concluded 8 petitions and brought them before the House. I commend them. The chair has just left the floor a few minutes ago. With regards to motion, 89 motions have been filed, out of which 6 are pending conclusion. Honorable Senators will note that all pending motions, unfortunately, will lapse at the rouse of the House this afternoon. The procedure of questions continue to be used by many senators to seek issues that affect the people that they represent. There are a total of 90 questions that have been filed. Out of these, 51 have been responded to by the cabinet secretaries. This is now with specific reference to questions to cabinet secretaries. Out of the 90 that have been filed, 51 have been responded to. 3 have been withdrawn and 36 are pending. I am particularly impressed by the decision of by the minority side, Madam Speaker, to join us eventually in this very important exercise. It took a while from our colleagues from the minority side to appreciate this important avenue that we use to table questions and ask cabinet secretaries to respond before us and follow the same with supplementary questions. I'm impressed and looking forward to this coming Wednesday's next session, Madam Speaker, where we'll have the full House actually, unlike the scenes that have been here the past few months. I also must celebrate, Madam Speaker, the Senate Mashinani program that we held from the 25th to the 29th in Lodo, Turkana County. When, Madam Speaker, we made a decision at the SPC to take this program to the far-flung corners of the county, I could not have been more impressed than what I saw in Turkana, where senators sat for the full length of that particular period and interacted with residents. Of course, we got to get feedback. I saw people complain that we didn't get to interact with them as much as possible. But over and above, many of the residents of Turkana appreciate the things that we are able to answer to them. As we move towards the next phase of the program and next year deciding, it is my proposition to the House that we still stick with proposals of taking this program to the so-called forgotten corners of this country. Aside from the legislative agenda, the Senate participated in the Devolution Stakeholders Forum and Devolution Conference was in Gishu as well. The lessons learned from these two events continue to shape the discourse on how the Senate undertakes its mandate. The Devolution Conference was particularly instrumental in highlighting crucial areas of legislation, including on-source revenue for county governments to support devolved functions, housing, planning and urban development, investment in counties, strengthening food systems, and empowerment of youth continue to be programs that were highly discussed. The Senate also, while with regards to Turkana, Madam Speaker, the Senate sought to promote the role of the work of Senate in general, highlight the existing new opportunities and engage in legislative process, develop and strengthen partnerships at the county level. The Senate and its committees were able to interact with the people. Madam Speaker, as we come to the conclusion of the second session, I would like to express my gratitude, by extension that of the Senate leadership, to all the honorable senators of this House for their unwavering dedication and commitment to serve the people of Kenya. The past months have been filled with robust debates, diligent committee work, and passage of crucial legislative business that will shape our next agenda. Madam Speaker, it goes without saying, and I have said this to colleagues even in our informal sessions at the Senators' Lounge, that I don't recall a particular long recess that we concluded without reconvening for one reason or the other. So I want to request senators, including my friend Eddie, that even as you enjoy yourself during the recess, keep your phone open and keep checking your messages. Duty may call any given time. In fact, county assemblies have a knack of recalling this House just days to Christmas with business that is brought here. Last year was one such case. It is my hope that no governor falls into trouble with MCAs and warrant the recall of this House so that at least we can rest. Senators have worked extremely hard the last few months, and that's something that we must appreciate. But you will recall, and you do know, members, that there is very important business that we were not able to conclude, including equalization fund, which we have not been able to conclude on as we go on recess today. We have not also been able to conclude on the county government additional allocation. I know we have formed a mediation committee, but they are yet to meet because the National Assembly have specific issues that they have raised with the Council of Governors, which they first want to be addressed before the mediation exercise can commence. Therefore, it goes without saying, Madam Speaker, that I know for a fact that we shall reconvene somewhere along this long recess period, Madam Speaker, because if not for anything, just to consider those bills so that we can do what we need to do so that we can have funds go to our counties. Lastly, of course, is interventions that we need to make on the state of the economy, and you understand the challenges that we are facing, Madam Speaker. I would have said many things about the situation as it is. I think I had alluded to some